Tonight on the podcast, we are talking the new Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. We're talking about the last blockbuster in the country. We're talking a little bit about GwenVerse, a little bit of Netflix, and we're giving you our spoiler-filled review of Ghostbusters Afterlife.
What?
Max, Scooby-Doo this motherfucker. That's right, it is Friday night in Phoenix, and you're locked and loaded in to a brand new episode of the best damn geek podcast in the known world. Not just
The
Phoenix, the known
galaxy.
World. Yes, the Absolute Geek Podcast. I am Matt.
I'm Lance.
I'm Max.
Hey, welcome, guys. What's going on?
Welcome. Dude, I
Well,
beat Guardians of the Galaxy this week, finally.
And I'm back from my, was it New Kids on the Block that you guys kept saying I was at?
Yeah.
I'm back from my New Kids on the Block concert.
No,
You know-
it's cool, dude, because we almost called the police because we thought Donnie Wahlberg had you like chained to a well in his basement or something.
I've heard that New Kids on the Block had a bunch of hits, and I know that Chinese food makes Lance sick.
What?
I don't know the rest of the lyrics to that shitty song.
I don't know any.
Is that a
I don't
New
know
Kids
any
song?
of their songs.
No, it's not a New Kids song.
Oh, okay. I was at Disney World and it was
Aaron.
awesome. That's where I was really at. It was super fun.
I gotta find the rest of the lyrics to that song.
What song is it?
Hold on. I don't even know who's singing it.
So I what was it, Wednesday night, Max? That I texted you? I finally beat it. Guardians of
When
the
did you
Galaxy?
come over to help me mount my TVs? Yes, Wednesday
Uh-oh.
night. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was
That
up till
almost went
3:30 in
weird
the
because when I heard Mount, I was like,
yeah,
oh,
I
no.
was gonna say, dude, you gotta like choose your words more carefully.
Oh, it's
hang the TV on the wall.
LFO.
And it wasn't even, yeah, anyways.
New
LFO.
Kids on the Block had a bunch of hits. Chinese food makes me sick, and I think it's fly when girls stop by for the summer. That's where I
Okay,
was
that
going
sounds
with that.
familiar. I
That's-
feel like I've heard
that's-
that.
That's Shakespearean right there.
It is,
Yeah.
but I fumbled it.
Thou shalt listen to New Kids on the Block.
Wow,
Yeah,
here we
dude.
go already,
Guardians of the
Aaron.
Galaxy was fucking awesome. Except you
I
guys,
haven't-
Matt, you played on Xbox, right?
No, I'm playing on PS5.
You haven't beat it
Are
yet?
you-
I have not beat it yet. No, dude,
Are
I've got
you
too many games
encountering-
going on right now.
Are you encountering glitches?
Yes, like when
It's a
you have,
PS5 thing.
like when the part where Peter goes back to the farm and he's an adult, and you're supposed to be
Mhm.
working on the truck. Like it wasn't giving me options to hit anything. I had to like
Yeah.
physically stop the game and restart it.
Yeah, I had
Yes, mount his TV as code for butt stuff, just in case you're wondering.
I had to restart the game probably like at least 8 or 9 times.
I haven't had that many glitches, but I've
it
had it
was-
happen. It's usually when you have to select buttons to do something.
There's a scene that you have there's a chapter where you have to walk across a ledge to get to the next part, and I would walk across the ledge and then it would force me to walk the other way on the ledge. Like it did I restarted it, it kept doing it. Finally it let me do it like 2 days later, but I put it down for a couple days because it was not letting me walk across this ledge and I couldn't move on.
Yeah,
No.
stuff like that's annoying. I don't know. Maybe I just got lucky, or maybe the PC version is less buggy. But I had like minor things, but nothing that was that annoying. Like
It was worse than
biggest
Avengers.
bug was that when I originally got the game, I was like, I'm gonna see how far I can push my GPU, and so I put it in like true 4K with all ray tracing and all ultra settings. With like I had like DLSS on, which helps to like to
Prevent
run the
tearing.
game better. Prevents tearing. It basically lowers the resolution.
Yeah.
Like upscales it via AI. But anyway, I had it like running at pretty boss graphics, which my graphics card is
Boss.
not intended for. Yeah, whatever. And that so the main glitch I had is I was getting like 60 frames a second. It was looking great, and then it tanked to like 14 frames, which is completely unplayable, and it wouldn't recover.
Don't
And
you
that
have like a
wasn't really-
3080 or something like that?
I have a
Don't you some-
3070.
Yeah, you have
which-
some ridiculous graphics card.
It's a great graphics card, but the 3070 is meant for 1440p gaming. It can do 4K, but that's not what it's intended for. So I bumped it down to like 1600p, and it was fine after that. I had it on my TV and it looked amazing. It ran great, smooth. I usually play on my monitor, but that was no, it always did after that.
No.
Like I bumped it down to like 1600, and I tell you what, it looks better than when I've seen Lance play it on his PS5. It's kind of crazy how good that game looks on PC. So I'm sorry. It sucks that you ran into the bugs, but
it was worse
on PS5 too.
It is.
It was worse than Avengers, man. Like Avengers, I thought was bad. But
that's because Avengers was a crap game to begin with.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, it's nowhere near on par as far as the gameplay is concerned. But the Avengers was plagued with glitches when it came out, and I think that I had a worse time with this one. But
see, here's what I'm really hoping happens because they just released
Snake Boy says my 5K modem won't play games, but it's a wizard at free cell.
Well, here's what I'm hoping happens because they released an update this week or last week for PS5 and Xbox Series X to where they finally added in ray tracing. And I think in this game the ray tracing is freaking amazing. It's so nice to look at. Problem is when you turn on ray tracing, it bumps your frames down to 30. And to me, at this point, I'm so used to playing at higher frames, I can't even do it. Like
I couldn't play
you tried it. You said it was just chuggy. It didn't feel right. But I think it'd be awesome if they gave you a ray tracing mode at 1440p like they do in Spider-Man Miles Morales, so you could still get 60. Like, yeah, it's not going to look quite as crisp. But
even that, I can still tell it. It's weird. Like, I think we've all spoiled ourselves as like gamers. Because like I grew up playing Nintendo and Super Nintendo. You
at like 180p. Who knows what frames it even ran at?
Like 60p. Like you literally the pixels are literally larger than your head on like a 13-inch TV. So
yeah,
but, I haven't beat it yet because Aaron's not the biggest video game fan. So like my PS5 and my Xbox are out in the living room on the big TV, and I've got my TV in my office, but I normally play most stuff on PC. That way she can do her thing and I can do mine.
Yeah.
Because she's not a big video game fan. But
so what else have you been playing? You said you've had too many games.
Call of Duty Vanguard. I've been playing that.
That makes sense.
Getting ready for the Warzone update, Vanguard integration on the 2nd. Nice. Halo Infinite. I've been playing a lot of Halo.
Is that what came out yesterday?
It came out on Tuesday.
What came out last night? Because we were coming out of Ghostbusters. There was a line wrapped around GameStop.
Last night.
I don't. Battlefield 2042.
Did Battlefield come out yesterday?
Maybe because that's the only other game I can think of that just came out recently.
You might be right.
It did. It came out last night.
Yeah,
it came out today.
Oh, I guess if you want to play it all night, but couldn't you just walk over to Walmart and pick it up? Like, why do you have to wait in a line at GameStop?
You could also just download it.
Download it digitally, yeah. But apparently that game's having a lot of issues too.
Oh, dude, I have heard it is running atrociously.
I've been watching one of the main streamers like fly around and bounce off buildings and jets and stuff. It's like,
yeah.
It's
not good. It's funny when it got marketed, people were like, "Oh, this is going to blow Call of Duty out of the water this year," and Call of Duty's not getting as much love as usual either because people don't like World War II and like they're just tired of seeing Call of Duty set in that time period. But Battlefield is not blowing Call of Duty.
Well, it's not just that. It's I think Halo has been a sneaky surprise because everyone thought Halo.
That's what I was about to say. It's the golden child.
Halo's going to be crappy. Like Halo was going to suck when 363 got it. It was that game tanked, and now like it launched. The multiplayer launched without the campaign, and the campaign's coming later. So you're getting the multiplayer, and like my only gripe with the multiplayer is just that like I'm spoiled. So going from like Call of Duty, Apex, all these like battle royale games, the movement speed is very fast. And when I go to Halo, it feels very slow, almost like I'm handicapped. Like I have all of my controls maxed out at top like speed.
Are you playing on your Xbox or on your PC?
No, on my PC.
Have you turned your field of view up?
Yep.
And that still doesn't feel faster?
Mm-hmm. So I have everything up to like max. So whether I played it on sticks or I played it on mouse and keyboard, all of my movement speeds are maxed out. Everything's maxed out just because it still feels super slow to me.
Nice. Well,
So,
I don't play COD as much, so that's probably why I'm not noticing. Meanwhile, I'm like, oh wow, this feels so fast for a Halo game, because it is. It's pretty fast for Halo. But I've also been playing the new Forza Horizon 5.
yeah, I haven't gotten into that yet.
I don't. Yeah, I hear you. But so Lance,
Yeah,
my wife is so mad at Lance. I think Lance got a new TV.
I had nothing to do with you buying a new TV.
I know. Lance got a new TV. He invited me over Sunday to watch the Cardinals game, which was absolute garbage. They got destroyed by a subpar team. Yeah, like it was awful, just awful. So we barely watched the game. We instead, watched Endgame in 4K, and we played some Guardians. And he basically gave me a demo of this brand new 65-inch TV that he got, and I was like, I need one. I need one. And I've been wanting one for a really long time, and I got one the next day.
I show up at his house, and Kelsey's like, hey, thanks, Lance. And I go, for what? And she goes, Max bought a TV because of you. I said, I'm not going to stall my purchases because your husband doesn't know how to.
Well, it's funny. What's extra funny about it is
you don't know how to say no.
Yeah. Anyway, it worked out.
I did tell her that, right, Max?
Yeah, you did. But the reason I even brought that up is because I've been playing Forza Horizon on that new TV, and I played some Halo Infinite on that new TV, and it's one that's got HDMI 2.1, so it can run 4K at 120, and man, that's nice. Like I still prefer playing on my PC overall. Like my monitor is still like my preferred place to play, but having this nice big 65-inch TV, because I've had a 55-inch for years, it's nice. And I think you've got like a 75-inch, so even better.
I did have a new TV. I did have a dream about getting a new TV because you told me you got a new TV.
I'm in love with my TV.
I just bought a new TV too. So well, a while ago when I got my Xbox Series X and my PS5, I was like, I need to have the 2.0 HDMI 2.0. I need to have the 120 hertz, 4K gaming, and so I went out and bought a brand new Vizio. It's stellar. It looks.
And yours is an OLED, right? You got like a real nice one.
Yeah, and like Assassin's Creed Valhalla looks amazing on that TV. But I just, like I said, when she's home, she's not the biggest video game fan, so I don't play out there when she's home.
Wookie's asking us what TV we got. It's the Sony X90J, 65-inch. Lance and I got the exact same TV. I went to the store with the intention of getting a 75-inch TCL that was about the same price. And then I went with my wife, and Kelsey's like, that's too big. That's not going to look good in our room. And she's right. Like, I was pretty disappointed. I'm like, fine, I'll get a 65-inch. I'll be a peasant. I'm being sarcastic. But then I put the 65-inch in my space, and I'm like, oh yeah, 75-inch would have looked weird.
Yeah, that's what I was going to buy. You remember, Max?
Yeah.
I was looking at 75-inch screens. I was going to buy the 75-inch 8K TCL, and I installed my parents' 75-inch on their wall, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna.
You guys are just amateurs. I would have put a 75-inch in my bedroom. Like 6 inches from my bed. I can feel the heat coming off. Aaron used to complain when my TV is my office in our bedroom because it's so big and like it's like inches from our bed, and she's like, I can feel the heat coming off of it as I'm trying to sleep. And I was like, hell yeah, that's how it should be.
Did you watch that Kevin Smith stand up when he talks about having the TV at the foot of the bed?
Yeah,
that some company gave him.
The Sharp gave him. It's like a 165-inch TV or something.
Nice.
This was, I mean, that special is 10 years old. So
yeah,
and he was speaking like pretty. So it was one of those like with the big ass end TVs, it was huge, and he put it like right up to the foot of his bed.
Nice.
Like, yeah,
I really thought about putting the 65-inch in my office, and part of me wants to just like bring it in here one day just to see what it's like to have that thing in here instead, because I didn't mount it on my TV on my wall. I just have it in the TV stand. But
I'm baller. Got a TV mounted to a TV in Max's house, huh?
No. But yeah, dude, I'm really enjoying it. It's got the Dolby Vision functionality. It's got like an IMAX mode. It's so nice.
I secretly want to get baller enough where I can have an 80-inch in the middle and then a couple little 32 inches on the side, so I can watch multiple football games in one room at the same time.
See, that's the man cave, right? Like, if you don't want your garage,
baller status right there. Yeah,
insulate the garage and like get an AC unit in there, and boom, you got 3 TVs in there. You got a bar.
I'm totally gonna do that.
Like that'd be. I've seen people that do it. It's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, I wanted a big one and then have like 2 like 30-inch, 32-inch, or 40-inch screens, like one on top of each other on one side of it. But now with YouTube TV, I mean, I can watch it on as many TVs in my house as I want, so I can play all the football games.
Yeah,
for me,
on as many TVs as I can get it on. Let's go.
For me, that's like having the multiple TVs in one room isn't really a thing for me as much, because I like sports, but not as much as you guys. Like, I'm good just watching the one game at a time. That's enough for me. But I do want a theater room. Like, and honestly, at this point, I don't even think I would want a projector. I would just want to get the biggest possible TV I could get, because it's just a better picture quality on a TV, and get like 7.1 surround sound, really nice receiver, some recliners. That's the dream right there. Maybe by the time I'm ready to do it, I can get a
little robot
to get a 100-inch TV or something.
Cheese whiz into your mouth for you, so you don't even have to move.
Like a bench warmer.
It's like,
like bench warmers. Make me a peanut butter and Skittle sandwich.
Here's the other thing I've realized getting this TV though. The TCL I had in my office was a $300 TV, and I was like, "Oh, this thing's great because it's 4K." It's not. It's good. It was a good TV for $300, but I'd stream a movie in 4K and then I'd put it on disc, and I'm like, it looks a little better on disc, not that much
Max
better.
Also bought that one after I bought mine too.
Yes, I did.
We have the same 55-inch.
But my first 4K TV was not the same as yours. Anywho, which that one's pretty good. I moved that one into my office now. But anyway, the new one that I got, when I stream a movie in 4K versus putting an actual 4K disc in, I can tell a significant difference. And now I'm like, okay, I need to stop buying my movies digitally. I was wrong. I need to get physical discs again.
Been telling you that. My wife's like, why don't you get rid of all your Blu-rays? Because I have like probably 1,500 to 2,000 Blu-rays in my room, 4K and Blu-rays. And my wife wants me to get rid of them. And I'm like, streaming will never be, unless we're getting like 2 gigs a second. You know what I mean? Like it's just not the same. You know.
Well, that's the other thing is like, I like Kelsey and I have been talking about potentially moving somewhere that doesn't have as good of an internet connection, and so I'm like, well, shoot, if I got my movies on disc, it doesn't matter. I don't have to stream them. Like,
there you go, Solo.
You know, so yeah, Solo's saying he's got an 82-inch 4K TV. Like, that's pretty legit, man.
You're looking to move again, Max?
No, it's just it's like the dream someday. I don't want to be in an HOA. It's like buy some land. But like the area that I'm looking at potentially buying land in the future doesn't have as good of internet. So
where you're looking, like Tonopah or Wickenbrook?
No, I'm looking like Queen Creek, like where I currently live. But anyway, it's not a. My dad has a plot of land I could potentially buy from him, but they only get like 75 megs a second out there.
Well, not Aaron, I guess we're gonna go to Best Buy tomorrow and buy a new TV. So hope you're ready.
We got a screaming deal.
Hey, they say you need like baby, instead of a baby moon, just get yourself a.
That's what I said. TV. She had her baby shower last weekend, and I was like, I'm gonna put a big screen TV on the registry, and she's like, that's not for the baby. I go, well, Dad needs something too, right?
What do you mean it's not for the baby?
Yeah,
literally every day the last few. Maybe this is an indication of our parenting style, and it's like not a good thing. But the last few days, James just keeps walking up to us if we're in a room with the TV and it's not on, and he points at it and he's like, We'll grab the remote and start pointing it at the TV and then hand it to us to turn it on.
He wants you to turn on some Cocoa Melon.
That's definitely one that he likes, but he'll watch anything. We were watching Spider-Man 3 earlier today, because I'm trying to catch up on all of them for No Way Home. Oh my gosh, dude. That movie sucks.
Aaron says negative. You got shut down, sucks.
Bro. I know, because I need to buy her a new... see, Dad got his new TV already. I got a I'm gonna get her a new laptop, I think, for Christmas because she's doing a lot of work from home stuff for her company and stuff. So she needs a new computer.
Yeah,
She's got an old Dell that takes like 20 minutes to load up. So
oh shit, that sucks. My wife is like, yeah, you can go get a TV, and I get it home. I'm all excited. I set it up, and she goes, well, guess that means I'm not getting my camera now. I'm like, are you free? Like, you're gonna guilt trip me now? Like, you told me I could go buy it, and now you're guilt tripping me.
That sounds really familiar. I told my wife, I was like, hey, it's our 10-year anniversary coming up, and I'm like, hey, I want to surprise you with a vacation. And then I get the TV, and she's like, so you can't surprise me with a vacation now, right? I'm like hell, I can't. And she doesn't listen to the show, so she doesn't know.
Well,
I can still surprise her with a vacation.
The camera she wants, I could buy 3 TVs for the price of that
she
camera.
wants a really nice camera. Okay.
Oh yeah. She already has a $1,500 camera, but it's like she's
boys, I think we're all
what it can do. Yeah,
I think we're all missing the point here.
What's the point?
No. We're talking about we need a TV in the bathroom.
Yes,
that's where a TV needs to be.
So I have an extra 32-inch now, and I think I'm going to put it right above my bathtub.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find this link.
I hope it falls off the wall and into the tub one day when you're getting ready to run a bath or something. You son of a bitch.
You light some candles, watch some football, get some bath salts.
I'm putting this link because if you guys have ever watched Linus Tech Tips, I enjoy his channel. I'm putting this link in the chat. When you guys have time, watch this YouTube video because Linus did this video where he puts like a nice gaming TV, gaming PC with the keyboard and mouse in his bathroom, and he can game in a freaking bathtub.
I don't need to go that far, but when you're sitting on the toilet
loaded,
and he's getting up some magic, you might want
all of his stuff sponsored, dude. He gets someone else to pay for it all too. I watched this video like a year ago. It's pretty good actually.
Did you guys watch that video of that it was like a team of artists or something? They made a fully functional Xbox Series X the size of like a refrigerator.
It's already the size of a refrigerator. Oh, no, you're talking about like
a full size refrigerator. Like,
I didn't know that.
Kitchen. Yeah, and then they were artists. They painted it all, like they did like graffiti and all this stuff on it, and then they gave it away to a subscriber. But it was huge. Like, I gotta find it now, but it was humongous and it was fully functional.
Nice.
They should do one like a mini fridge with the Xbox like in it.
Nah. They're already selling they're already gonna sell an Xbox Series X mini fridge that can hold like 6 cans of soda or a beverage of your choice. But
yeah,
they were giving those away, tiny. So they're actually making them now.
Oh yeah, you can buy them. But yeah, they're tiny. I didn't realize how small they were because when they came out with the price, I think they're $100 or something like that.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, that's cheap. And then I find out they hold like 6 cans. Like
they don't get that cold either. There's no Freon in them. It's a fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the same thing as those little retro fridges that they sell at Fry's or at Walmart. It's just a fan in there. So it doesn't get it. It's not like a fridge where you can like freeze it if you wanted to. You know what I mean? There's no Freon in it.
Most people freeze things in their freezer. Their pepperoni.
I was just saying, like,
freeze things in their refrigerator.
You could get a normal refrigerator cold enough where it could freeze thing, like not full on freeze like a freezer, but like I've turned up my refrigerator and accidentally froze a soda before.
Yeah,
but you can't do that with these little things.
But all right, well, we've talked enough about
Xbox
man caves and what we want and TVs, and I've actually got a mini fridge just sitting in my garage. I've contemplated turning into a kegerator.
Should we get into some geek news? Geek news!
Fuck yeah! Excellent.
Let's start kick off with the talk of the town this week. That new Spider-Man No Way Home trailer 2. Now, did you guys
poster?
Get
this is the new poster.
Yeah, did you guys get the variant edition? I would guess you'd call it, or theatrical edition.
So
before Ghostbusters,
you said something about that, and I want to know what you saw that was different. Did you go see it at AMC or Harkins?
No, I went and saw Harkins.
So I saw mine at AMC.
I saw mine at Fat Cats, and I saw like the original teaser trailer. It wasn't anything new.
They had a new the new trailer in front of the Spider-Man that had a couple of different scenes mixed into the batch.
What was it? What scenes?
I can't remember now because I was hyped when I saw it last night, but like they had where Doc says hello Peter, and he turned before they like start their fight, and Peter does his pose and like a suit and tie, and then goes Iron Spider, and then you could see it better when he smashes them against the post and he starts pulling his tech. Because it cuts to where he's saying hello Peter, and then them all standing there in the sanctum when he's in prison, and then to him fighting him on the bridge instead of. So it's like it was reordered. They had some extra scenes in there that you didn't see before. You got some real nice new shots of Electro and stuff. So it's when you see it on the big screen, it puts a lot of what some of these other channels are saying, like
what
when they're breaking it down, like breaking the trailer down, like the scene where MJ is falling off the bridge or falling off the Statue of Liberty, basically, because the Statue of Liberty has a giant Captain America shield, and when that comes crashing down, she falls, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh well, that's Andrew Garfield's hand that's reaching for her," and in the trailer, it's not, because it showed the full shot of Peter running and jumping and reaching for her, and
I did see that one then.
Yeah, I'm thinking, that's what I saw in the trailer. But every time I see that scene, I think Andrew Garfield's going to show up at that moment. That's going to be his entrance.
I think that Tom Holland's not going to be able to reach her, and somebody else is going to swoop in and catch her.
That's what I'm saying.
I think Andrew Garfield would want to redeem himself after what happened to Gwen Stacy.
Exactly.
One of the best things going around the internet this week too is the Brazilian trailer where you see the lizard get kicked in the head.
Yep.
And some fan made a mock-up of John Cena in the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man outfit, and it says it was John Cena that was punching the lizard because you can't see him. So
that's awesome.
That's
Wait,
great.
Oh, John Cena. Dave Bautista as Drax is the other one that says you can't. I'm moving so slow you can't see me, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's who I was thinking of first, but
John Cena.
Yeah. But you get a closer shot if you want to go to the next slide, Max.
I wanted to say something about that poster real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so this is the newest poster, right? Again, Sony and Marvel are phoning it in by just copying and pasting the same Green Goblin that we saw in the poster that came out a week ago. So I noticed, they're just Spider-Man, or Sony and Marvel have long been kind of teased that they kind of phone in the Spider-Man posters, and this is just another iteration of that where it's really not that inspired.
I think the trailer is very misleading. I don't think Doc is fighting Peter.
I don't think so either.
In that scene, I think they're fighting somebody else.
So I have something to say with that. So we saw a scene where it almost looks like Doc Ock's tentacles have been infused with some sort of Iron Man tech, right?
He's literally pulling the nanotech off of the Iron Spider suit and incorporating it into his tentacles. That's what he's doing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because
it shows that in the trailer.
Yeah, and especially in the theatrical one that I saw last night, when he's got him up against the post, you can see Peter Parker's nanotech, his spider suit is receding, and it's going onto Ock's tentacles, and the nanotech is infusing with Ock's tentacles.
So
I wish we could replay it right here, and I could go scene by scene and point it out. But
and then Sony's going to shut us down.
Copyright stricken, yeah.
So there's a scene where it almost looks like Doc Ock is helping the Scooby Kids, right? So they're kind of teasing about his name, and I started to think back to the plot of Spider-Man 2, and Doc Ock's whole thing was he was trying to create everlasting energy source, right? and that's what the arms were used for. And he was kind of putting that that metal through that big force field and stuff, right? And then he was trying to build a bigger one. Well, in the MCU, Iron Man's already done that. So now if Doc
arc reactor,
so now if Doc comes here and that he sees his lifelong dream exists, and probably a more what's the word, economical way, you know, when Iron Man did it, because they even said in Spider-Man 2, like that metal that they have to use, there's only so much of it in the world, right? So it's not everlasting. But what if he comes there and that like switch, because all of his stuff is his mind. He has that inhibitor chip on the back of his neck, right? So what if, because his lifelong dream has already been seen by Tony Stark, what if that starts to change his mentality?
Hey, Patrick, it's good to see you. No, see, I think he redeems himself at the moment before he dies at the end of Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
But we saw when he's coming through the bridge that the lights on his tentacles
are red, yes.
And that's when he's evil.
Right. But I think that's a misdirection. And
so that's possible.
Also, pay attention to Doctor Strange. There's still something very off about Doctor Strange in these trailers.
Well, and there's that shot later that you've got black Spider-Man suit with like the Doctor Strange type stuff on his arm, and there's a lot of weird stuff going on.
But my thing with Doctor Strange is the way he talks, and then when he's telling Peter, he basically lies to Peter, saying, and we had this discussion before, saying that all these villains died at the hand of Spider-Man. So unless this is a different Sandman, because I bit the bullet and I went back, and for you fans, I rewatched Spider-Man 3, dance scene and all. Sandman doesn't die.
I was watching Spider-Man 3 today. You're better than me. I skipped the dance scene. No way. Can't do it.
Peter Parker lets him go, forgives him.
So Lizard doesn't die either.
And Lizard doesn't die either, right? So unless they're alternate versions of these characters. My other theory too is that everyone keeps saying there's got to be a sixth, the Sinister 66666. And they've already said, well, there's only going to be 5 villains in
easy on the Lucifer
type,
buddy.
I know.
Well, 666 Mephisto.
Everyone's saying there's got to be 6 villains. Who's the 6th villain? And Sony said no, there's only 5. There's not going to be 6.
Mystery.
And if the theory is that Doc Ock's going to be good, he's not really a villain.
I think the Mysterio is still very much at play here. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sandman, because we only ever see him in his sand form, isn't a illusion or a mirage like the Elementals were.
Absolutely.
In a Homecoming or in Far From Home.
I could definitely see him being
and I'm looking at his face, and that doesn't look like what is it, Thomas Church?
Well, I mean, no, but Electro looks different too.
Patrick brings a good point here, saying Doctor Strange could be a Skrull with Secret Invasion coming, but my money is Agatha being involved somehow. I never thought about Agatha. That's a good one.
With this movie, I don't think Agatha's.
But that would really. This is supposed to be essentially the prequel for the Doctor Strange movie, right? And we know WandaVision is the bad guy in the Doctor Strange movie. That would really merge those two worlds.
Wait, we know what?
Scarlet Witch is the bad guy in Doctor Strange.
Do we know that though?
I don't think I haven't heard that.
I must read a lot of articles. Yes.
I think that's the theory that's going around because of the Darkhold, but I don't think that's going to be the case.
I don't know. But I mean, it's still, even if she's not the bad guy, I mean, Agatha having some role in Spider-Man would connect Doctor Strange to Scarlet Witch. I mean, it seems logical.
Well, I think all the multiverse stuff already connects them. And what happens at the end of WandaVision with the Darkhold and her hearing the voices, and then what happens at the end of Loki with all the timeline splits? Because at the end of the trailer, you got Strange standing there saying they're coming through. I can't stop them. and it's breaking off in like the purple streaks, and it looks very much like what happens at the end of Loki when
that too
they killed Kang the Conqueror, or that version of Kang.
Yeah.
So
is he talking about multiple Kangs coming through?
I would not be surprised, or multiple universes coming through. And
so do we think this is going to have a resolution?
I do. Yeah. I think it's going to have a one more day or brand new day resolution, where at the end of it, it's going to be nobody remembers who Peter Parker is.
Okay. But then if this is leading into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, though, maybe there's a post-credit scene where something.
I think it's going to revolve. It's going to have a resolution for Peter and what's going on with him in his life.
Yeah, but it's going to kick off
Doctor Strange. The overall arcing story of the multiverse and what's going on there, I don't think that's going to be resolved now.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely not, since the movie's literally called Multiverse of Madness. Yeah.
Well, and that's the next what, 2 or 3 phases, really? I mean, we're in phase 4 now, right? So it took 3 phases to get to Thanos. So it's going to be the next 2 or 3 phases,
this is
right?
Marvel phase 5, isn't it?
Is it phase 5?
Maybe you're right.
I think
you might be right.
5.
You might be right. I was guessing, but and we know Loki season 2 is coming out, which is going to revolve around.
Or maybe it is 4. I've lost track of Marvel's phases.
The phases things, like I wish they would just get away from that. The phase thing.
But go ahead and move on to the next slide real quick.
What Marvel phase are we in? We're in phase 4.
Okay. What were you saying, Lance? Go ahead.
Oh, we know Loki season 2 is coming out. That's going to revolve around the multiverse. So this multiverse thing is going to go until essentially we had the Infinity Saga. This is going to be the multiversal saga.
Well, no, I think they're splitting. I think they're splitting off. So I think you're going to have, like I said, you're going to have Cosmic, where you're going to have Secret Invasion. You have the Marvels. You're going to have the cosmic stuff, and then the multiverse stuff is going to be your street level hero stuff.
Yeah, but you're going to have a team up of all these things. They're going to have a big.
I don't know.
Every saga is going to end. They have to. I mean, they wouldn't be introducing all these characters unless there was some intention of having them all in the same screen.
You did the Avengers. What are you leading to? I mean, I think Disney Plus is building a Young Avengers team. What are you leading to then?
A war against Kang.
Yeah.
That's what I'm interested to see. Can Disney do it again? And they captivated us for 10, 11 years in the Infinity Saga. We had this big culmination. I truly think they're going to want to do that again. They're going to want to capitalize on putting every single character on one screen again. Like that's just smart business sense.
Stick boy, I absolutely hope we get Baghead Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse too.
Oh, that would be and that could happen in Into the Spider-Verse.
But so right now on the
Spider-Punk.
For everyone, Spider-Punk's stupid.
I think he looks cool. He has a freaking metal mohawk.
Yeah. Everyone who's listening back to the playback on Monday, right now we have on the screen a shot from the trailer of the unknown Goblin, the other person flying in by the moonlight without a mask on, shooting what looks to be Harry's pumpkin bombs from Spider-Man 3. There's a lot of speculation going on that this is James Franco's.
You brought up
Harry
a reason why it's not.
It's not James Franco. No way.
But I don't. Yeah, he's been canceled. He got Me Too'd. He's not going to be in this movie.
Unless they recast him. Maybe it's Dave Franco.
There's no way Disney is going to let Sony connect this to their properties and put James Franco in there.
So put Dave Franco in it. He's America's sweetheart.
Oh my God. And then the other one is the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Green Goblin. But I honestly think from mock-ups and seeing it clear on the big screen, I really think that this is Norman Osborn. He's just had the mask removed, got it knocked off or something, and he's got the hood pulled up over his head. Because here's a mock-up of what the costume was potentially going to look like.
Yeah, if you're listening on the playback, I really feel like this is a segment you should watch.
Yeah,
because we've got some cool images up here. I'm all for listening to podcasts. I love listening. I probably listen to 6 podcasts a week. I'm just like super into them.
Nerd.
These guys, I am a nerd. But like, watch this one because these images really, I think, are making this conversation fun. But yeah, I agree. This mock-up like concept art that was leaked of Green Goblin, I agree with you. I think that this is just
I'm still not a
Norman without
huge fan.
his mask on.
I'm still not a huge fan of the helmet thing.
I get it.
When you think about it, though, do you realize how stupid it would look if it was just a rubber mask? If he was just flying around in the rubber mask? Yeah, I mean,
You want him to
They
actually
could have
be a
at least
goblin?
added purple to the top.
yeah.
I mean, they even
but
have the lines there. They could have at least added purple, like a cowl. I mean, there's plenty of characters that have like a cowl and stuff. Like
I see a lot of theories that it's going to be a hobgoblin. That's going to be an alternate version of, because we get alternate versions of Peter, and rumor is we're going to get alternate versions of MJ with
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst coming back, and supposedly, I don't know if it's true or not, but rumor is that Emma Stone is in this movie too.
That'd be
And
cool. Well, it seems like the
If it wouldn't
Spider-Man
be-
are going to be pulled out of like a place in time. Like this isn't going to be
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire 20 years later or whatever, however it's been.
I would
guess
love if it was. We got an
I think
old
that'd be
man
cool.
Peter.
It seems like that's not what we're doing. I mean, if you look at the leaked photos, it feels like they de-aged Tobey Maguire in those.
Yeah,
I mean,
it very much feels like all these villains were pulled like right before they met their demise at the hands of Spider-Man.
yeah, I think there's a lot of de-aging tech that's going to be going in here for people like Willem Dafoe, and obviously we've already seen with Doc Ock. It's just it's interesting.
If the villains are coming through these portals at the time that they were going to die, well, we know that that Spider-Man, whatever iteration it was there at that point. Like maybe they follow them through. Maybe they go running after them or something.
I don't know. I think they come over later on. I think
Once they realize or MCU Peter can't do it by himself.
I almost feel like the villains come across first, and then Doctor Strange has something to do with bringing the other Spider-Man in as backup.
I agree.
Because we get the whole, Ock saying you're not Peter Parker, so they don't recognize him. And so then he brings in backup, or Peter goes through time and gets the other Spider-Man from those universes. That's why he's got the black suit with the Doctor Strange tech on, and he brings them to help with the fight.
So can you explain to me, because it's still not making sense to me. What's the box that Peter and Doctor Strange are fighting over?
No
we
idea.
don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Because I'm just trying to. The only box I can think of is from the DC universe, the mother box, right?
Well,
it has something to do with the universes. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like there was a rumor, theory, maybe even call it a leak, whatever you want to call it, that talked about there's like some magical box that they need to use, but clearly it's important. I agree.
Well, yeah, because Peter wants to use it and Doctor Strange doesn't want him to.
Yeah, well, because isn't in the trailer Doctor Strange saying you have to kill these people, or is it send them back so they
he
can
says
die?
that all of these he says is that all of these villains have met their demise at the hands of Spider-Man.
And that's not true either for any of them. Green Goblin killed himself.
Well,
Doc Ock,
it's still a true statement.
Spider-Man was
but
very
not
much
at the hands.
Yeah, he was very much involved in that.
Doc Ock
Norman dies by his own demise, but he is trying to stab Peter with the glider, and Peter has a little Peter tingle and
Peter tingle.
But Doc Ock, it wasn't.
He sacrifices
Peter.
himself.
He sacrifices himself. It had nothing to do. Like Peter made him see the error of his ways, I guess. But
yeah,
he sacrifices himself.
Peter talked him into suicide. I don't know why you're defending Peter so much.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, when you say at the hands of Peter, at the hands of Spider-Man, it makes it seem like Spider-Man murdered all these people. And that's not the case for any of them.
That's where Matt was talking earlier, that it seems like Strange is lying. Or either Strange is lying or he doesn't know.
Support his earlier statement.
Yeah. Yeah. It's either Strange is lying or Strange doesn't really know. I don't know.
But all right, let's move on. Here, you can go ahead and skip There's the black suit with Electro in the background behind him, but it's blue Electro.
Yeah, that's another thing I'm wondering is Electro going to come over with the blue electricity at first, and then something's going to happen to give him more of the traditional look that we like.
But
I mean, I'm liking the yellow.
Or is there more
and,
than one Electro at some point?
I mean, I guess.
And apparently, there's at some point his Iron Spider's costume is going to fuse with the black and red suit from Far From Home, because there's a hot toy of that coming out of that, and they call it the fused suit.
I'm okay with that. I've never liked the Iron Spider suit very much. I don't really like the way it looks.
Well, I don't like the way they do it in the movie because it's not how.
That's what I mean in the movie. I don't like the way it looks.
But moving on, spilling out of this, Tom Holland has done a lot of press for this movie as of late, and he is quoted as saying that maybe it's time for Peter Parker's story to come to an end in the MCU, and he hand over the reins to Miles Morales. Do you guys feel like it's time for Miles to be in the MCU?
100%.
I do,
as your main Spider-Man?
Yes.
Not at the expense of Peter. Like, I think Peter needs to be there to help Miles become just like we saw in the game, right?
Yeah.
But that's not how it happens in the book. The Peter dies and Miles takes over the mantle.
But the Spider-Verse was so fun because of Old Man Peter. Jake Johnson as Old Man Peter. Like, I loved that story.
I'm good with either option, but I think it's time for Miles. We've had 3 Spider-Men. I mean, what is this, the 9th movie? This is the 9th Spider-Man movie with Peter?
8th.
Yeah,
3 Tobys, 2 Andrews.
Yeah. My math was
3
wrong.
Toms.
Yeah, you're right. So this is the 8th Spider-Man movie, all Peter Parker. Give us freaking Miles. I've said this on the show before, though. I feel like I'm a broken record.
I'm all for Miles. I got excited when they had Donald Glover in the first Spider-Man, kind of teasing, because he was Aaron.
He's Prowler. Yeah,
Prowler.
We know Miles exists in this universe, but
yes,
Tom Holland was quoted as saying, "If I'm still 30 years old and playing Spider-Man, I'm doing something wrong."
Yeah, and he's what, 25 right now, I think.
And he's more interested in playing James Bond now than he is.
No. Thank you.
Keep going, Spider-Man.
He's also saying that, and I admire. I don't know if you guys saw this quote earlier this week. He's saying that he wants to retire from acting earlier in his life and basically buy apartment buildings and rent them out for cheaper than market value because he doesn't need the money and he wants to help people. That's cool. I
agree with that and be Spider-Man.
I agree with Zaggy. Too early for Miles. Way more stories with Spidey.
Yeah, I want the Spidey Deadpool. Like, I want that. And it's not going to be the same if it's Miles and Deadpool. It has to be Peter and Deadpool.
I do love Tom Holland, though. I don't want Tom Holland to go anywhere, but I'm saying I'm ready for Miles.
Nor does Disney, and they will pay him whatever he wants.
I mean, if he's saying he doesn't need the money, maybe he doesn't care. I don't know.
He's the first, truly, he's the first, like, real. I mean, his Spider-Man movies are the first ones to ever hit $1 billion, right? He's been Spider-Man in more films than the other 2 combined, right?
Well, sadly, Disney doesn't have a choice in the matter because he can walk away from Sony and be like, I'm done. And since Sony holds the rights to him, Disney has no say in it.
Well, I was reading an article, I think it was on comicbookmovie.com, that Sony and Disney are currently talking about doing 6 more Spider-Man pictures.
We'll see.
6. So I think
they're going to have to film those
the
quick if he's going to not be 30.
I think Sony wants to be in the Disney game and Disney wants to be in the Spider-Man game. I think they both need each other.
Well, I mean, I think we're going to have to wait and see. No Way Home is, if it's as big as it is, and they're saying that this is Spider-Man's version of Endgame, and that it leaves Spider-Man in uncharted territories, I think you're going to get, man, I think it's going to change a lot of things. Like, you're going to get Brand New Day where nobody knows who Spider-Man is. He's going to lose that relationship with MJ either by her dying or him sacrificing it like he does with Mephisto to get things changed. I think there's a lot of misdirection going on in this trailer. A lot of misdirection.
I'm so excited to see this movie.
Yes, I'm extremely stoked for this movie. The more I see about it, the better.
And we know Daredevil's coming back. Like, did we talk about that on this show?
No, because it hasn't been in a trailer yet. But yeah, there is the leaks of Charlie Cox sitting in his apartment and with Peter and all that. So we're gonna see, man. We're less than a month away from this movie. Wednesday would have been a month away. So
excited.
So excited. Moving on to a little bit of comic book news. Sticking with the Spidey, the craze of Spider-Man. Gwen, aka Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider, whatever you want to call her, is getting her own multiverse series coming in February called GwenVerse. If you saw the first cover of it, the DNA cover, it shows her as Spider-Gwen, as Wolverine, as Captain America, as Thor, all these different versions of Gwen. So
who's that one in the back with the purple cape?
That I can't remember her name.
I see Captain Marvel at the bottom.
She came to be in one of those God, someone can help me with that. Like the series they were running over the summer. What if the Avengers never existed? I can't remember what the series was called, but they had a different Avengers team, and then they had Miles Morales was the new Falcon, and they had all this new different stuff.
I thought,
is that her as Gambit?
Yeah,
That's
but so spawning
awesome.
out of that, we're going to get basically Gwen covers of all these different characters.
Oh, that Rogue one is awesome.
For books moving forward. So we're gonna get a Shang-Chi number 9, X Gwen. So her is all different X-Men. So we're gonna get a Shang-Chi Gwen variant, number 9, where she's Gambit. You're gonna get a Hulk number 4, the new Donny Cates run of her as Rogue, ripping apart a Sentinel head. You get Amazing Spider-Man 88 is her as Jean Grey. Go ahead to the next one, Max. You're gonna get Captain Marvel 37 is her as Mystique. You're gonna get Ghost Rider number 1 is her as
Emma Frost.
Thank you. Moon Knight number 8 is gonna have her as Cyclops, which I think is really well done. It's a good Tana cover. Black Panther number 4 is her as the Phoenix, which I think looks
awesome
really good.
One. Yeah,
by
that's
Phil
cool.
Noto. Iron Fist number 1, the new
Domino.
Iron Fist is going to be her as Domino, and then She-Hulk number 2 is her as Wolverine.
Nice.
I think my favorite is this Phoenix one and that Rogue one.
Those are my two favorites as well.
And the Jean Grey one was pretty cool too.
Yes, yeah. Reborn. Thank you, Leftovers Aggie. Reborn. I've been collecting strong female covers for my daughter already, and when I was sitting here putting together a show and they announced this, I literally turned to Aaron and go, I'm going to be buying so many covers with Gwen Stacy. So
it's really cool.
Yeah, these are awesome.
I'm trying to see where my Gwen. I have quite a few Gwen pops.
Well, I really like Gwen Stacy. She's a cool character. She was horrible in Spider-Man 3, but she's a cool, really, really great character.
But there's still 2 more. Go to the next one. Yeah, her Gwenpool. So Miles Morales, Spider-Man 35, you get her as the new Captain Britain. And Silver Surfer Rebirth number 2, you get her as Polaris.
I like that Captain Britain one. That's pretty cool.
Her lips bother me. Her face and lips bother me.
Is it because it's a down shot?
Yeah, I think she's supposed to have
giving off some Angelina Jolie vibes.
Yeah, she looks like she just got some bad collagen injections in her lips.
Have you noticed they're pushing Polaris a lot lately?
Yeah.
You think? I wonder if she's gonna be, if they're gonna pull her into if she's gonna be one of the first mutants that we see at some point.
I don't think so.
I just noticed they've started I've seen toys being made recently. Now they got a comic cover. I mean, when you think of mutants, that she's not most people's first name that they would say.
Yeah, and I mean they could establish her as a child of Magneto before establishing Wanda as a child of Magneto, if they even do that. But
well, that's what they did in The Gifted.
Who knows? Yeah,
Wanda realizes that she's a child of Magneto and goes on the hunt for his other children.
Well, one of them's already dead, so
Yeah, but I don't think that's gonna last.
we'll see.
I hope not. That's wishful thinking on my part. I haven't read anything anywhere.
But those are coming later this year. Also, spawning out of how it was popular, it still beats the hell out of me. But spilling out of the popularity from the What If series on Disney Plus, we're getting a new What If line. So far, we had What If Miles Morales was Captain America is coming later next year, and another What If that looks like a four-clawed Wolverine that is potentially female or a person of color.
Is that not Miles?
Coming out in March 2020. I don't know who it is. We have no idea.
I think it's Miles.
So that's launching in. I think it's going to be someone completely different, but it's launching. It could be Miles. You might be right. It might be Miles, but it's launching.
It's definitely not a female because I don't see any. I'm not trying to be sexist here, but I don't see any breasticles there.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I get female vibes as far as like female comic book vibes when I look at that character, but it could be male, it could be Miles, who knows? But yeah, we're getting a new What If series launch line due to the popularity of Disney Plus show. So
the misguided popularity.
Yep.
I want What If to go away.
Yes, Stick Boy. If we get the first mutant, it'll be Maria McTaggart. Maybe. We'll see.
That was played by Rose Byrne in the last ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chesticles.
There you go.
I said breasticles, but yeah, chesticles.
Chesticles.
That's the one we said too.
But so that's your new comic book stuff. Going to the next one, Max. Brandon Routh.
I'm 100% on board for this.
Brandon Routh has said that he has pitched a Kingdom Come TV series, and he would love to come back to play the Kingdom Come Superman.
He was my favorite part of Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Okay, let me rephrase where I said I'm not on board with this. Let me put a caveat in there because I also agree he was the best part of Crisis. I don't want this on the CW. I want the CW DC stuff to go away. If you put this on HBO Max, I'm on board. Let's do it. Let's get him an HBO Max series.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah,
I need the CW. What was that?
I think it would be HBO Max. I don't think he pitched it to CW. I think it would make more sense to be an HBO Max series.
Then he doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to go on the sixth biggest public television. Like, you know what I mean? Like, CW is not a big fish. And Brandon Routh is not going to be wanting to do that. Like, well, no, he was on Legends of Tomorrow, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's Adam on Legends of Tomorrow.
So I think it would be HBO Max because he would probably want to separate himself completely from whatever CW stuff he's done.
Yeah,
right.
I'm all for it.
If that's the route they go, I'm all for it too.
I thought he was good in Crisis as Kingdom Come Superman.
I thought he was good in Superman Returns. That movie sucked, but he did not get a fair break. Like,
I thought he was a good Superman too.
Yeah, the movie was not good, but he was. I liked him. Like, I thought you're stepping it. You're supposed to be Christopher Reeves as Superman in that movie. You know what I mean? Because it's supposed to be a continuation of the other Supermans, and he did phenomenal. The movie was bad, but.
Yeah, weird story and the whole kid thing, and
his career just pitfall.
Picking up a kryptonite island.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Here.
Yeah. With wasn't it Kevin Spacey?
As Lex.
But all right, moving on here. We're getting the news that there is a Netflix has a TV show in the works based on the last blockbuster. And we are getting the what's his name from Fresh Off the Boat?
Something.
I want to say Jimmy
Park.
Woo. Oh, is it?
That's Jim from The Office. That's John Krasinski.
No, I want to say Jimmy Woo, but isn't that his name in?
Isn't it Randall Park?
Yes, Randall Park. Thank you. I was gonna say Jimmy Woo. Isn't that his name in WandaVision?
I'm so confused. He looks just like Jim from The Office.
Yeah, I know. I get your joke. Yes. Jim is not Asian.
Oh, I saw that clip on TikTok the other day. It still makes me laugh.
It's like my favorite opening in all of The Office.
But yes, they're making a TV show based around
Jimmy
the
Woo
last
and
blockbuster.
You know, the premise of watching a show about the last blockbuster doesn't sound overly interesting, but the
documentary was fascinating. The documentary was fascinating.
As a documentary, that's fine. I'm just saying, like a drama TV series. It's just, I'm interested. Whatever. Stop interrupting me. The point is, Randall Park. I'm down. I'm on board. I just like him.
It'd have to be a sitcom, I would think.
I'm sure it will be.
Do we know who's making it? What network?
It's Netflix.
Oh, it's a Netflix show. Okay.
Yep.
Well, Netflix is the one that made the last blockbuster documentary. I'm pretty sure, right? Pretty sure that was Netflix.
They're the ones that killed the blockbuster, and they're like, all right, let's capitalize off of our murder victim.
You know, it's actually wasn't Netflix. It was Redbox that killed Blockbuster. And you know what's funny about that whole thing is Redbox came to Blockbuster and asked them to finance their little movie kiosk thing. Blockbuster thought it was the dumbest idea on the planet, and Redbox put them out of business.
The more you know.
I watched a documentary on that too.
I mean, here's the thing. Redbox is not, I don't use them, but they are a better idea than Blockbuster.
I don't use them anyways because they're obsolete because you have streaming and everything comes to streaming services so much faster now. What do you need Redbox for?
Oh, I haven't bought a movie from Redbox in quite a while.
Me neither.
Here's the only nice thing about Redbox. If you want to rent a movie, it's cheaper to do it via Redbox than it is streaming. Because streaming, you're like paying $6 to rent a movie. Redbox, like you can get it for like $2.50, $3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They stopped video games though. They don't do video games.
Yeah. I haven't rented in a long time. I don't rent movies.
Yeah, so the Blockbuster kiosk was made after Dish bought them, I think, and it was meant to compete against Redbox, and it did not work.
I remember those
chesticles. All right, moving on.
Chesticles.
If you're a fan of How I Met Your Mother, the spinoff series How I Met Your Father is coming to Hulu January 18th, 2022. Hey, look, the first half of this year or next year, there's so much stuff. I couldn't be having a baby at a better time because when I'm up at sleepless nights, I've got so much to watch.
That's true.
Between Hawkeye and the Book of Boba Fett, Letterkenny Season 10 comes out the day after Christmas.
Why are we talking about this shit and we didn't put Letterkenny up here?
The other day. Letterkenny Season 10 comes out the day after Christmas. This comes out after that. So much good stuff coming at the beginning of the year. I'm excited for it.
No, that's awesome. Glad you're
I put this there because I love How I Met Your Mother. It's an amazing show.
I feel like right now,
but
I feel like right now there's so much content. Yeah, I said yawn, by the way, and I've watched clips of How I Met Your Mother, and it's funny. I just need to watch the whole show. But right now, I feel like there's so much, right? Like I've got, because of video games, I've got Forza, I've got Halo Infinite, and I haven't even had a chance to play Call of Duty. I haven't even bought it, and I probably won't because I have too much crap to play. And then I still haven't finished playing Far Cry 6 yet. And you've got The Witcher coming out. The Wheel of Time came out today. I'm like 3 episodes behind on Doom Patrol. Like, there's a lot of content right now.
Cowboy Bebop too. Like Cowboy Bebop started today, and that was so good. I've watched the first couple episodes, and I'm a huge fan of the anime, and I loved the first episode. Hitmonkey is so good too. If you're not watching Hitmonkey on Hulu, if you liked Invincible, you'll love Hitmonkey. Same level of violence. Jason Sudeikis. It's so good.
Speaking of Jason Sudeikis, he just did it dropped today or yesterday or something like that. A new music video with Foo Fighters.
Yeah, where he's a
swim coach,
like, angry swim coach. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be the next Ted Lasso.
I was just thinking, I'm like, that sounds Ted Lasso like.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, and it's synchronized swimming. And it's all these synchronized swimmers, and then somebody deep faked the Foo Fighters faces on these synchronized swimmers, and it looks awful. But Jason Sudeikis' part is pretty funny. He's like dancing while they're singing and stuff. It's pretty good. But yeah, I agree, Max. How I Met Your Mother, some of it's funny, but I lost interest about halfway through.
I didn't. I love the whole series except for the end. I could have done without the end. So Netflix announced this week also that they are going to bring a weekly top 10 list.
Don't
They
they do
revealed
that?
plans to be more transparent about its streaming data by publishing weekly top 10 lists centered on both films and series. So you're going to get a different weekly top 10 about on films and series from Netflix. If you
Don't they
care
already
about
do that when you
they
go
do
in? Doesn't
like
it show
their
you
top
10?
10. It's like their top 10 most watched stuff, but I think it's most watched stuff over time. And this is going to be more dialed into how many people are actually watching. It's going to be a little bit more dialed in list, I think.
Yeah, because didn't Manifest break the record for being in the top 10 for so many weeks?
And then there's stuff that's on there that has been top 10 for a long time that you kind of get that feeling nobody's still watching.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's going to move like and stuff that just came out will stay in the top 10 for weeks. So I think it's going to be more dialed in where everything's going to be rotating out week by week.
Yeah, sure. I mean, when Stranger Things comes in, it's going to be.
I have no
10
interest.
for
I
weeks.
honestly have no interest in the new Stranger Things. It's been so long since the last season. I've kind of lost Locking.
Agreed.
That's what happened to Lock and Key. It felt so long between Lock and Key that I've watched the first episode of season 2 and I have no desire to watch any more of it.
It's actually better than season 1, but I remember watching season 2 and I could not remember anything that happened in season 1.
I couldn't either, and luckily my wife had just rewatched season 1 like days earlier. We paused it and I was like, "Can you explain season 1 to me?" And she just like explained it to me. I'm like, "Okay, all right." Then it kind of came back.
Season 2 is better, but I do have to say this about Lock and Key. That kid that was from It Chapter 1, Georgie. Is it Georgie? Yeah, awful actor. Awful.
So, funny story. He was actually supposed to be Wiccan in
thank goodness he wasn't.
In Disney Plus. They filmed his scenes, and that's why the kid who's Wiccan looks like him. They had to replace him because they had to do reshoots, and he couldn't do it because of his schedule for Lock and Key. So they had to recast him. I know this because my cousin's son actually goes to high school goes to school with him. That kid lives here in the Valley. It goes to Gilbert and Chandler.
He's always doing signings. Like, yeah, he was at some like bake shop a few months ago doing a signing.
And fun fact, his uncle is Stifler from American Pie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sean William Scott, huh?
His uncle is Sean William Scott, yep.
Which, if you haven't watched Goon with him, you're missing
amazing. Out. Goon 2. Last Enforcers is really good too.
But the kid's an awful actor. Every time he speaks, and he was better this season than the last season, but he's still bad.
Yeah. No, he was pretty bad. I agree.
And he's here, so he's never going to be on the show. Kind of like Rob Liefeld.
Yeah.
He's going to hear this. He's going to hear me saying this, and he's never going to come on.
Well, you never know. You're entitled to your own opinion.
He might get better as he gets older. He's like 10. And
most people know that Max's opinion or Lance's opinion is wrong normally anyway. So
that's true.
Weren't you the one that was just called out on my Facebook page for saying Captain Marvel was
I
basically called myself out by saying that this show is not the place to go for trusted movie advice. And I didn't even give Captain Marvel a 9.8 on this show. I did it on my own Facebook page. But just because I did it here, or just because I'm part of this show, I get flack for
it. Was that Solo that said? Who was that said? Oh no, it was Tim.
Tim, yeah.
Tim's like, I'm never trusting you guys. I was duped by Captain Marvel.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. Look, it was a knee-jerk reaction. I was caught up in the nostalgia of the 90s of the movie, and it was left the theater, adrenaline running.
Dude, it happens to all of us.
And then when I started thinking, yeah, I know Stuber. I get it, Stuber, but sure. Tyler and Stuber, but
well, I was thinking more like some of the Star Wars movies. Like I walked out of The Last Jedi. We reviewed The Last Jedi on Couch Crunchers, and we were like, why are people giving this movie so much crap? It was pretty good. We liked it. And then as I thought about the movie more, I like aspects of it. But as I think about that movie more, I'm like, yeah, it's not great.
I'm not a Star Wars fan, and it was great.
Yeah, we're not going to have this discussion right now.
Yeah.
That's why I say I saw your Facebook post about something Star Wars related, and you're like, I'm totally here for this. I was like, we just lost all credibility because the guy who doesn't watch Star Wars is posting about Star Wars.
It was a parody. It was a Monty Python parody.
I know
Star Wars.
but
the only Star Wars news I'm interested in right now, and it's not in our show notes, but I'm just going to mention it really quick. They cast Sabine Wren, and I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, that happened like literally as we were getting ready to go live.
Yeah, it happened a few hours.
You've been talking about that character for a couple months now, right, Max? I think I've heard that name several times.
Yeah, and I got what I wanted. I wanted someone I'd never heard of to play the role, and that's exactly what they did. Some person I never heard of.
Moving on, we got Netflix live action casting announcements for the Avatar: The Last Airbender series, a series that I am a huge fan of. I've got all the episodes. I've got the McFarlane toy line. I can't wait. One of the series I can't wait to share with my daughter. The live action movie, this is atrocious and it sucks. So don't buy it, but definitely watch the cartoon. But we got the live action casting. We've got some relatively unknowns to me anyways, playing some of our target characters. It's interesting to me that they went all Asian characters because even though this series is based on a lot of Asian cultures, this is an American anime, and they're not all of the cultures in the show are Asian. Like Aang's not supposed to be Asian. Katara is supposed to be like Native American. Her and Sokka, as they call her, are supposed to be more Native American because they're more Inuit and they're in the North and South Poles and things like that. But hey, I'm okay with it. They're sticking true to it, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. The thing that they have to do to make sure that this story is legit is Katara. We have to make sure she reiterates over and over again that her mother died. Otherwise it's not authentic,
right? My mother was killed by the Fire Nation as my daddy went off to war. But
I don't think the bottom kid is Asian. He was in 13 Reasons Why.
No, he wasn't.
In that pic?
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
Or wait,
no,
yeah,
the bottom kid.
Yeah, he replaces the other dude, the other Asian dude that went on to do that's in Shazam. Because he left 13 Reasons Why.
No, that kid, the kid in Shazam was in 13 Reasons Why the whole series.
Yeah, he was.
Okay. I don't remember this kid
is a
being
new
in 13
kid.
Reasons Why.
I don't remember him in 13 Reasons Why, but
I think he was he's gay. He in the show he's gay. He's a love interest for one of the main gay kids. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know, but it would make sense if the actor were Asian because
he plays Robbie Corman in 13 Reasons Why.
Pretty sure he's a love interest for somebody else.
Well, who else we got cast? We got Zuko casting. We got
we got Dallas Liu as Zuko. Paul Sun Hing Lee, if you watch Kim's Convenience, and he was in some of The Mandalorian. He's playing General Iroh, Uncle Iroh. Daniel Day Kim from he's been in like Hawaii 5-0 and a lot of stuff. He lost. He's going to be Fire Lord Ozai. If you want to go back to the last slide real quick here, we've got Gordon Cormier as Aang. I don't even want to. I can't even.
Kia Wentio.
Yeah, as Katara, and then Ian Owsley as Sokka.
So I need to clarify. He was not gay in 13 Reasons Why. He was the first one to come forward for sexual assault in the show. He's the one that makes the other kid. Well, I don't want to say somebody played a gay character and they didn't. Kyle's gonna roast me on Facebook if I say something.
Oh, he's already roasting you. Trust me, he's already roasting you for many other things.
I know. Oh, I loved. He was awesome in
who?
Ken Luong. He was an X-Men.
So Ken Luong is going to play Commander Zhao.
Commander Zhao, and then Ling K-Su is going to be Monk Yato. So, yeah, see, Kyle already said misinformation, Lance.
Ken Luong, he was also in Lost as well.
So
yeah, I mean, I don't know some of these actors, but seems like it's a good cast. I'm
Well, man,
excited
so
most
you
for
got to watch
Uncle.
more than just Star Wars.
I do,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
but no, I know some of them, not all of them. But I'm really excited for Uncle Iroh because he's just such a great character.
yes, like I said,
And
this is one of my all-time top favorite series. This series
yeah,
holds up so well. It was so beautifully done.
I watched
The
it
act,
last year for the first time.
the voice acting
I've
in it
never
is
seen
so
it.
great. If you want to get caught up on it, it's on Netflix.
Watch it with your kids. I think you'd like it,
Yeah,
Lance.
your kids would
Pretty
love
sure
it.
they've already watched it.
Well, Matt described it as American anime. I don't even. That's kind of true, but it's not. It's not really anime. It's just it's an animated American show that's got an anime looking style. I think
Isn't
you'd
this
Yeah,
like
kind
it.
of
but
the same thing as like Naruto or something?
No, that's
no,
anime.
it's.
Oh, that's straight anime.
I mean, it's based off of like Japanese and Asian Japanese, Chinese, Asian cultures. There's a
Yeah.
lot of that influence in there. As far as the way things work and bending and their martial arts formats and things like that. But it's very interesting that they're going with a very Asian heavy cast because like each region was a different type of person. But yeah, I'm all for it. If Netflix can give me anything better
Well,
than
wasn't that what the movie got roasted for? It was all white.
no, no, because they had the Fire Nations were basically people from India. Then you had the Earth Kingdom was all Asians, and then Aang was just some little white kid, and then pretty much the same with Katara and Sokka. They were just kind of white kids. So I mean, they did have it culturally diverse in that movie, but it wasn't. That movie just sucked. The bending was terrible. Like if you watch the cartoon, the names are butchered in that too because they go. I understand like to the language they go phonetically in this. Like Soka isn't a pronounced Soka in the series. It's pronounced Sokka. And so like there's just a lot of differences that big Avatar fans pick up on and didn't like. And the bending was poor, the story was poor. It just wasn't a very good.
Yeah, I tried to watch a part of the movie because I saw the movie originally before I had ever seen the series, and then I watched the series, and I'm like, let me just put the movie on to see how it is. I couldn't watch more than like 5 minutes of it. I was like, this is awful.
I've never seen the movie either.
It's
This has
awful.
got to become a thing. Mislansformation.
Yeah. At least I give information.
Mislansformation. Have you found that brick oven pizza yet?
No, I have not.
No. Ah, damn. It's all good. All right, but that's the end of our geek news.
That was long. We went long. That was a lot of news to unfold.
Well, that's all right. Roll on to our next topic. So I really didn't have with work and everything being crazy and next week being a short week, I really didn't have time to read all the comics I picked up this week. But if you go down to the next slide. The one book I want to talk about though is Dark Ages. If you are not reading Dark Ages from Marvel right now, you are missing out. This is the 3rd issue. This book is so good. I can't get enough. Like this is that one book that you talk about with your friends whenever you read it and you're like, oh man, did you read this? Did you check this out? Like it's set in a time where basically all technology is dead. They have to go old school with it. Apocalypse has got some ways of bringing electricity back, where I talked about before, where he's using Magneto to build electricity. In this issue, they send in Quicksilver to do some recon to try and find Tony Stark after he was kidnapped by Mystique and Apocalypse. They send in Quicksilver to do some recon, and he sees his dad being tortured and used as basically an electric rod, and they catch him, and Purple Man takes over his mind and sends him back to the village where all these other heroes are, and he just starts killing people.
Quicksilver?
Murdering. Yeah, he basically murders Johnny Storm and stabs him basically through the back, and so he goes like supernova and like disintegrates right in Sue Storm's arms. So like, yeah, it's an awesome book, man. Like every time I read it, I can't wait for the next issue. If you're not reading it, go to your local comic shop this week, pick up the first 3 issues of Dark Ages. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. Just like Leftover Ziggy said, it's a pretty badass book. So
nice.
There you go, Matt.
Why
Lance,
haven't they
you're always
just
looking for some read.
Yeah, why haven't they just made Quicksilver run on a giant hamster wheel?
I don't know. But that's my big PSA book for this week. Is the art's phenomenal, the story so far is phenomenal, and just that Quicksilver. Like I literally had that same reaction when I read it. When you see Johnny Storm burn up in Sue Storm's arms, just like jaw dropped. Like I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Especially such a beloved character.
Yeah,
I mean, Human Torch is loved by everyone.
Definitely remember, as we're getting ready for next week for Black Friday, definitely remember to support your local comic shop for that nerd or geek in your life, to get that holiday gift. Because we're already at that time. We're already at Black Friday.
Our lists are on Amazon, so
let's see if I can show it here. But right there, I'm just stabbing.
Insane.
Quicksilver.
But he's possessed when he does this, right?
Yeah, he's possessed by Purple Man when he does it. And then he comes back, like he gets snapped out of it, and he says, like, I know exactly what I did. Like I could see what I did, but I couldn't stop myself from doing it. Like that, like there's where he like disintegrates and blows away in her hands.
Dang,
that's crazy.
And then you kind of like the last page teaser, just because I want more people to read this book because it deserves it. Last page teaser is like a Venom Carnage hybrid that Apocalypse is about to unleash.
What?
So there you go. Check out Dark Ages issue 3 if you're not reading it.
I have the first 2 issues. I haven't cracked them open yet.
Well, now you need issue 3.
Yeah. Well, do I? You told me everything that happens.
I mean, hey, it's I can't recommend that book to enough people. It was surprising. I thought it was going to be stupid, but from issue 1, I've been hooked. So, all right,
awesome. What's next?
Our last topic of the evening: spoiler warning. If you are listening, and I appreciate everyone in the chat, I want to shout out to Kyle, Stick Boy, Solo Wookie, Leftover Zaggy. Who else was here earlier? Aaron, of course, my beloved.
Did you say Patrick already?
Patrick, that's what I was thinking of. Thank you, Patrick. Everyone who's in the chat tonight, thanks for hanging out with us. We definitely appreciate it. It's great to see you all as always. But spoiler time, spoiler alert, as we're going to talk now about Ghostbusters Afterlife.
So excited to talk about this.
If you have not seen Ghostbusters Afterlife right now, this is the time to, if you're listening back on the playback, to hit that pause button, go see the movie, come back and hear what we had to say about it, and let us know what you think about it. If you're live in the chat, it's your time to dip out and have a great weekend.
This is the one time I'll say that you should not be watching Absolute Geek right now, and you should be at the movie theater.
Yes. Stick Boy right there says, I'm out taking the fam tomorrow. All right, Stick Boy, you have a good night. Hope you enjoy the movie. But yeah, let's get into talking about Ghostbusters Afterlife. I'll defer to Max. You just saw it. What are your thoughts? What were your thoughts, Max?
Oh, I liked it a lot. It's funny. I was getting near the end of the movie, and I was starting to think to myself, Lance talked about how this is the greatest movie ever, and I don't agree. I know, but you said like it was super, super, super good. Like you were raving, and I'm like, I don't understand why he's raving so much. Like I
just get really geeked about Ghostbusters.
No, you're good. I haven't finished my thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that And the whole time I'm like, where are the freaking Ghostbusters? I want the OGs, man. I need the original Ghostbusters. And then they finally show up for the last like 10 minutes of the movie. And it was so good. Oh, it was so good that last 10 minutes.
So
I still wish they would have been in more of the movie. But
yeah, so you guys have both said that. Like I heard that from both of you in the text. And I just got to say that because they were in the last 10 minutes made it even better because you're anticipating it the whole time. Like I loved it.
No,
I was anticipating it.
My message in the text wasn't about the old Ghostbusters. I wanted more Ghostbusters action. I wanted to see
More
them
ghostbusting,
fighting more ghosts. I wanted to see them using the equipment more. I wanted to see more of the proton stuff. That's my problem with all the Ghostbusters movies. My big and is that you get all this build up and you only get like 10, 15 minutes of actual action and then the movie's over. I want to see more of them, like on a date, like going to multiple calls, doing multiple things, not just necessarily the little bit of ghost busting that you get.
Yeah.
I think though that this movie probably has more action than the other two.
Zaggy says, yeah, they're old, Max.
No, yeah. And I saw that comment and was going to reply to it. My reply to that is, I get that. I don't even mean that I wanted the OGs in there necessarily to be ghost busting the whole time. I just wanted them in the movie more. I was hoping
I didn't even remember the original much, and I still really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, and that's not like a big complaint because again, like the time that they were in it was so good, and I really wasn't expecting to see Harold Ramis at all. That was pretty
did that so well,
pretty neat. Yeah, that was really good. I'm glad they didn't have him talk. I was like, please don't like insert old lines from other movies into here. Just let him be silent. And I liked that he was.
They did that. I was blown away by how good that looked, by how it looked like the actual actor was there. And I thought, did they put somebody in makeup? Like, because it looked so good. That has to be, out of all the de-aging stuff I've seen and bringing people back from the dead, that has to be the best I've ever seen as far as special effects are concerned.
Yeah,
Don't you guys agree?
No, but I thought it was really good, though.
I'm with Max. No, not really.
Well,
I thought it was good.
Better.
I don't know. Samuel L. Jackson,
here's my problem. But it looked like they almost took it looked like they took his character model, like the old man version of him, from Knocked Up. So he looked like the old guy. Like he
wasn't as heavy set because he was heavy set in that movie. But it does look like they borrowed it from a lot.
His Knocked Up stuff. Yes.
Some of it looked like they had another actor standing in, and they were kind of putting his face over it. I couldn't tell if they were using old.
I think they definitely deep faked him.
Yeah, well, I looked in the credits. They say Egon Spengler played by Harold Ramis. Like they don't say anybody else.
It looked good.
I think it was 100% really good. CGI.
You just go uncredited. That's all.
Potentially. Anyway, I thought it was great. I'm just
here. I'm gonna share my screen real quick.
What movie did they de-age? Oh, in Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job.
That's not. I don't think that's special. That's makeup.
Like right here, it's like they used.
But he wasn't. His face wasn't as round. Like
I think it was.
I think it was a little thinner than that.
He was thinner.
But I mean, you can make him thinner easily. But I feel like that's where they took that character model from, was like Knocked Up and some of his other stuff.
Because did he die before the reboot came out?
Yes.
I want to say he was only mentioned in the reboot. It was like a statue or something.
Yeah, he died before the reboot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like Ghostbusters is probably one of the first.
He died in 2014, and I think the reboot was 2016.
It was.
Yeah. Ghostbusters is probably the first movie I ever remember like actually watching, like actually sitting down and remember watching it. And I watched it with my dad, and I've probably seen the original Ghostbusters more than 300-400 times. Like, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. and watching this movie, and then being in the theater with half of my theater was full of people in Ghostbusters suits wearing proton
Nice.
pack.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like being around like true fans of this, because I went to the Dolby Cinema, which in my opinion is the nicest.
There were
cinema that
6
you can
people
go
in
to.
my showing.
I think there were
Oh,
like
it
7
was
or 8 in mine.
packed. I bought my tickets 4 weeks ago, and the movie theater was 70% full.
Yeah,
4
I went at
weeks
3
ago.
p.m. on a Friday though, so I'm not surprised it wasn't very packed.
But for someone like me that loves these things so much, like I picked up this at the movie from AMC. It's a popcorn bucket.
How much did that run you?
$40, and it came with.
They're
popcorn.
going for $100 on eBay right now.
What the fuck? I should put this back in the box.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. What? They had like, I could probably go to AMC right now and buy one.
They are going for $100 on eBay right now.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad I bought it, because I almost didn't. And then my wife is like, you know what? Just go ahead and get it. It was our anniversary a couple days ago. So she's like, just go ahead and get it.
I still want to go see it again. I'm tempted to go see the 10 o'clock showing at the IMAX up the street, because I want to see it again.
Max, you down?
Tonight? No, but it was very good. I do want to see it again. I liked it a lot. Phoebe, by the way, was like the best.
McKenna Grace. I have yet to see something with. She was in that movie Gifted with Chris Evans. She's been in quite a few things. I've yet to see her in anything where she isn't the highlight of the movie. Like this little girl, I think she's probably 13 now, 12, something like that. She reminds me so much of when Haley Steinfeld first started being in movies, and you could tell when you watched Haley Steinfeld, you're like, oh, this girl's gonna be big when she's older. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's McKenna Grace. McKenna Grace hasn't had anything as deep as True Grit though. Like True Grit was like multi-blockbuster, you know what I mean? But
Ghostbusters.
It's funny you say that, because I
laughed. Now, yeah.
That's all Aaron could say to me during the movie is how ugly the kids were. She was like, the 2 main kids are so ugly. Like, I was like,
Finn Wolfhard is not Finn Wolfhard's not the nicest looking kid. But McKenna Grace looks like Egon Spengler, and I never noticed it. Like she looks like she could be a descendant. Oh, she's just like perfect.
Dude, so Aaron's saying she loves her corny jokes. I was just about to say those jokes. I was rolling, and I felt self-conscious about it, because I found her jokes so funny, and there were seriously like 10 people in my whole theater, and I'm sitting there chuckling into the next scene over her jokes, and I'm the only
hamster
one
and the hamster and the cigarette joke. I laughed pretty hard. No, but all the callbacks to the originals, like every detail that they thought of, the Twinkie in the glove box, and Paul Rudd when he becomes the is he the keymaster?
Yes.
And he's laying on that rock with his leg perched up, and he's kind of,
it looks like Rick Moranis.
It's the exact same pose.
Yeah.
Like
that
all
scene
these
was
little
super
things
cheesy, though. So bad.
And that's the scene Anna was talking about that made her uncomfortable when they were mauling each other.
Yeah, it was just weird.
Yeah. But it's exactly like it was in the first one. Like
I even
voice like
leaned over to Aaron and laughed and said he's running just like Rick Moranis' character in the first Ghostbusters.
Yeah, he was missed. Rick Moranis was missed, but we knew he wasn't going to be in it.
That was the one. So I tried so hard to find one bad thing about this movie. Like I told you guys, I said I'm gonna have a hard time finding it out. And when I walked out of the theater, that was the one thing I said. Everybody came back. Even the guy that died in 2014 came back. And Rick Moranis couldn't be bothered. That kind of pissed me off. No, because he came out and said, like, yeah, they approached me and it didn't make sense. I'm like, what?
Maybe he'll be in the sequel, because I guarantee there's going to be a sequel.
Oh, yeah. Well, they set it up at the end, with the containment unit flashing red. But I was surprised how well I know the originals, because I constantly had to turn to Anna and explain, because she would see me get all giddy about something, the Twinkie in the glove box or something, and I had to turn to Anna to explain.
That's a big Twinkie.
Yeah. And I essentially said, well, in the original they have a containment unit, and he compares it exploding to the filling in a Twinkie and all this stuff. And
Or
But-
when podcast comes out covered in marshmallows.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Oh, it was so awesome.
He was great as well, by the way. Loved him.
Oh, dude, the little Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I think he's gonna be on par with Baby Yoda, because
I think that is their Baby Yoda.
yeah,
That
The whole
scene-
reason they're there is because
That
they
scene
needed the
was
Baby Yoda.
so funny. Roasting themselves on the grill, making themselves into s'mores. The blender.
the
like,
blender. I
Stabbing each other
laughed.
with umbrellas.
The part I laughed so hard about is when the Roomba runs him over and then it smears him on the ground as
Yeah.
he's driving away.
Yep.
Which we're all familiar with if your Roombas ever go over like dog shit.
Well,
I don't know if
let
that's
my
ever
dog
happened to
shit
you
in the
guys.
house, Max, or Lance, but
I have a 14-year-old dog and sometimes he can't hold himself or she.
but
My Roomba has ran over dog shit before.
but
You
Phoebe
had me
and
questioning a lot of things when you said he. I was like,
Yeah.
wait, he? Thought Sassy
No,
was a
it's
girl.
she.
Okay.
It's a girl.
Podcast and Podcast was probably one of my favorite characters in this movie, honestly. And just when that interaction between him and Ray at the end, and he was like, I have a podcast. He's like, oh yeah, what's it called? I tell him, he's like, oh man. And he was like,
You're my subscriber.
Yeah, you're my subscriber. And he's like, oh yeah, your show really found its voice about episode 46.
Which he says earlier when he hands her
Yeah.
the
And
My Little Pony thumbstick.
And then I was like, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, has this show ever found its voice yet? And we're like almost 300 episodes in. Like, have we found its voice yet? But
Here's
one-
something I'll say.
Hmm.
So podcast, and crap, what's the main girl's name? I just said
Phoebe?
it earlier. Phoebe,
Phoebe.
thank you. Those are the only two characters' names I can remember. I don't know who Finn Wolfhard's
Trevor.
girlfriend is. And
I don't know
his
her
character's
because
name.
his name was Trevor, but I
Like-
don't remember her name.
They're supposed to be two of the Ghostbusters, and they were not really. I feel like the
what I will-
runtime should have been a little longer to give more
Yes.
development, but it was still good. But
What I will say is that Trevor could have been removed from this movie and it would have been the same movie.
yeah, he was really there, nothing to be nothing more than like a glorified pop point for first Ghost, and to
Or to
drive
get a
the
Stranger
Ecto
Things
one.
kid into the movie.
Yeah,
yeah, well,
Drive the
he did
Ecto one.
something at the end, didn't he? Help in some way, didn't he? Like, shoot
Yeah,
the,
he
proton pack?
he shot the corn silo. What do
Yeah,
you call those?
he charged it up.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I did forget
But
that.
so if you notice from the trailers, they're kind of marketing this as a Paul Rudd movie,
Yes,
and it's not really a Paul Rudd movie. He's really not in it a lot.
I thought he was in it a good amount.
No, because as soon as he gets attacked by one of the demon dogs, you don't see him until you see him on the cliff. He's much more a supporting character than he is the main character. But in the trailers, they make it seem like he's a main character. But
Yeah,
really,
I definitely-
it's Phoebe's movie. It's
Yeah.
I
McKenna
expected
Grace's
him
movie.
to put on a proton pack at some point.
Yeah, I
did
never
not
had that
see him
expectation.
I did not see him becoming the keymaster or the gatekeeper, like, at all. But yeah, this is a comment Aaron said to me multiple times during the movie, is that podcast reminds her of Russell from Up.
I agree.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
she was like, his mannerisms, the way he talks, everything he does reminds her of
All right,
Russell
Disney,
from
you've
Up,
only got a couple years for a live action Up now.
right?
You've got
Well-
your casting.
Well, you see that each of them. So Finn Wolfhard is the Bill Murray kind of the group. Phoebe's obviously Egon. Podcast is Dan Aykroyd, and the other one, it didn't even make an impact. So
Well, she
Which
did.
is
She
probably-
came out. She came out at the end and at the house, and she shot Gozer with the proton.
yeah, but that was
pack,
really
and-
it. Like as far as the entire movie, she's just kind of there as
What? That's
as
kind of like
Crush.
what Winston was in the first movie. He was just kind
I
of there.
guess. I guess.
He was there, and then comedic relief to bust out that's a big Twinkie.
Speaking of Winston, I keep blanking on the actor's name. He aged the most gracefully of all of them. He looks
Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson.
yeah.
Ernie Hudson looks good. Bill Murray surprisingly looks the worst. That man looks like he looks really
Cocaine's a
old.
hell of a drug.
I thought Dan Aykroyd looked pretty rough too.
I thought
Dan
so when he
Aykroyd
was
just
on
got
the phone.
overweight.
When he was on the phone, I thought he looked pretty rough, but when he had the pack on, he looked better.
Well, are they in their 70s?
Yeah, they're old guys. But I'm just saying Ernie Hudson looks good.
But you very much get that feel that the next movie is gonna be them back at the old firehouse,
which I thought was supposed to be a Starbucks
going on again. You know?
Yeah, right.
But I think they they did Janine so well. Like, instead of making her the love interest of Egon, they were just friends. They did Janine so well. They did.
Well, I still don't understand why they haven't said who the mom is.
Right.
Ernie Hudson is the oldest out of all of them.
Yeah, he looks the best.
He's 75. Bill Murray's 71. Dan Aykroyd's 69. I did not see that coming. I thought Ernie Hudson be younger than all of them, the way he looked. It's crazy.
Dang. But
I love.
So you're thinking that the sequel will be the original Ghostbusters again?
I think so. That's kind of how they set it up. Unless they're gonna do like,
I don't think
all
they
new
will.
Ghostbusters.
I think it's gonna be the kids. Ernie Hudson's gonna be the bankroll. He's gonna bankroll the operation. It's gonna be the kids, and maybe Dan Aykroyd will be there. Bill Murray will not return to Ghostbusters. I can guarantee it.
No, I don't think Bill Murray will be back. But
which is such a bummer. He was so good.
If you watch any of the late night shows, I watched them on Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, everything. He has done nothing but complain about being in that movie.
That's just Bill Murray. Like,
no, but you could tell, like, Dan Aykroyd's kind of rolling his eyes as Bill Murray's talking about complaining being in this movie. And for years, Bill Murray has said, I will never do another Ghostbusters. And I think the only reason he did this one is because to pay tribute to Harold. But
he was in the other one
again.
Yeah,
he was in the other one.
Was also to pay tribute to Harold, because it was also to pay tribute to Harold.
But I loved how he had that one-on-one with Gozer about like their relationship, because he was hitting on her in the first one, and like that came back, and he's like, we never would have worked out. And then,
which it was Olivia Wilde.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Still looking kind of David Bowie-ish.
Yeah.
Yes.
I liked Phoebe at that part where she was like, "Are you here to be a sacrifice?" She's like, "No, I'm 12."
That's what I loved. Oh shit. That's what I loved about her too, is that she was trying to tell these jokes to be funny, but really when she was really funny, it's like she wasn't trying to be like, and that's kind of how I remember Egon being.
No, her jokes. Her jokes were the funniest stuff she did the whole movie.
But they were funny because they were not funny. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Kinda.
But like when she says like, no, I'm 12, like that was funny, but it wasn't her trying to be funny. Like Egon did that a lot. Egon would tell jokes and get the rest of them to look at him like, what the hell did you just say? But then when he was being completely straight, that's when you would laugh at Egon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like when he's asking Peter to collect the goo or whatever, and like, yeah, absolutely. Egon was funny because he's such a nerd and so socially unaware.
The fish joke.
McKenna Grace just plays it beautifully. Like she did. I feel like she popped in those two movies and just studied him for hours. You know what I mean? Like just studied his mannerisms, like down, like she was perfect. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing. Aaron in the comment just typed FSHHH.
Oh, fish.
Yeah, her joke.
That joke was so funny, so I'm just laughing. I can't even remember the joke. I just remember it was funny. What did she say? What is a fish?
What do you call a fish with no eyes?
It's with no eyes. What was the one where the punchline was obtuse? Oh, they were so good.
He said, did you use three of them? He goes, yeah, I know what triangulate means. And she goes, oh, I thought you were being obtuse.
Yeah, she gives him like the awkward wink. And she's like, "Oh, you're making." He's like, "Oh, you're making a joke," and she's like, "Yes, I am. I winked. I thought you knew that."
Oh man.
Yeah, I think if they're going, when they make the trailer, they're gonna have to figure something out with Finn Wolfhard, because between all of them, Paul Rudd and him are probably the most marketable names in this, right? And they gotta give him more substance. He just didn't have enough substance. Like it almost seemed like he walked off the screen from Stranger Things and played the same character in Ghostbusters.
I don't think so. I
Yeah, I
feel
don't-
Well,
that
he
way.
was
don't
just
think
kind of
so.
awkward. He was like an awkward teenager, kind of had a little like there was nothing that was dramatically different than roles we've seen him in before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it obviously was different. There's differences, but
Yeah, he
for the
didn't
most
swear
part,
nearly as much in this as he does in Stranger Things.
but I mean,
Kid's
he
got
was
a
just
potty
that
mouth.
awkward, like just being the awkward teenager is not much of a role development. You know what I mean? Like, whereas it's Phoebe, like she pushes the story along, kind of, you know.
Yeah, she was
Uncovering
a
things and
surprise to
stuff.
me. I saw her in the trailers and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna like that character. She's the best character.
I definitely want more of Phoebe and podcast busting ghosts and experimenting on the paranormal, because I loved podcast. He was probably my favorite character in this movie. When they're testing out the proton pack and he takes a picture with the goggles and it comes out and he's just shaking it off, like I laughed so hard at that. And then especially like the exchange at the end with him and Dan Aykroyd about Dan Aykroyd listening to his podcast. It's so good, man. It's so fun. It's so funny because like I call Erin pregnancy. So like when she's walking around, I'm like, "What's up, pregnancy?" And now she's like, she's been looking for something to call me. Now she started calling me podcast. So she's like, "What's up, podcast?" I was like, "Oh man."
Why do you call her
But
pregnancy?
just because I do, because she's pregnant. So I'm
What's
just
the
like,
C?
"What's up, pregnancy?" It's just putting emphasis on it. Pregnant. It's just the word pregnancy, but I just put
Oh,
emphasis on
gotcha.
it.
I thought the C had some sort of significance.
No,
I'm like,
just like,
wait,
"What's up,
her name
pregnancy?"
is
So-
Erin McArdle. I'm like trying to
Yeah.
figure out where the C
Yeah,
came.
it's just because she's pregnant.
That's funny.
So
I don't know. I just
Um,
want to know, what do you call a dead polar bear?
whatever you want.
Yeah, they're dead. It doesn't matter. So good.
The mom was pretty good too. Like I really liked the tension between mom and Phoebe, like not knowing. I because of how the mom was throughout the whole movie and how she's trying to relate to her daughter and she can't really, and all these things, and then seeing that moment when she sees her dad's ghost, she sees Egon, and that connection just made it mean so much more because of all the tension they built in the beginning. Like it was just a perfect nostalgic movie, like for I don't know. I loved it. I cried like a little bitch at the end.
I got teary at the end. The Harold
It wasn't
Ramis,
just me.
Ramis stuff was good.
The entire theater, you could hear sniffles. Like,
Well, we
and
are in the middle of a pandemic, Lance. Come on.
I heard something I thought was much worse going on next to me.
Oh,
Fart.
I honestly thought the couple next to me, like the guy was getting a blowjob.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't want to sneak into your theater there, but you know things got a little wild, and
That's what it sounded like.
Sometimes,
Turned my head a little to see if that's what was going on, and it wasn't. But I was like, "What the heck is that?"
Yeah.
They cut a hole in the popcorn box.
Pregnancy hormones. You never know when things are going to happen, and you know, it's just. Sorry about that. I knew
it distracted me at the end. I was like, "What is that sucking sound? What is going on over there?"
There's a golf ball going through a garden hose, my friend.
My fear when it comes to this movie, though, and I just want to say this: I don't need a reboot or I don't need a sequel 20, 30 years, you know, after the original came out. Like, I don't want to see them do this to Back to the Future. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to see them do this to Princess Bride. I don't want to, like, this one did well because Ghostbusters has been basically mistreated for many years. Like,
but like
just
people
been ignored,
aren't
pretty much.
Back to the Future 1 and 2 are considered perfect movies. Like every time someone brings up a reboot, it gets shot down, and like the writers, the original creators of it, won't let them do it because it's considered a perfect movie. Ghostbusters is one of those movies that a lot of people have been clamoring for a reboot for years.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, well, and
Ghostbusters
Ghostbusters 2 kind of left a bad
to.
taste in people's mouth.
Yeah, it's a movie that they've clamored for a sequel to for a long time. This movie very much followed A New Hope or Force Awakens storyline where it was very much almost a retelling of the first movie.
I was thinking that, and there definitely was that, but I think they did a better job.
I do too.
They made it
I
different
100%
enough
agree.
that yeah.
But there was just still a lot of the elements from the first movie that people loved, and a lot of it's hang on a lot of the drive for this is that nostalgic factor, but it's also different enough where it hangs on its own merits.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I was worried when Gozer started coming out of the temple. I said, "Oh no, they're gonna do that." Think of something to be your destroyer thing. You know what I mean?
I mean, they pretty much did when they're standing at the farm and she asks Peter and Ray and Winston again, "Are you a god?"
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, but
they're
we
like,
didn't have a
Ray.
we didn't have a giant thing come out. Like that's what I was worried about. Like I didn't want it to follow the same beats, and it didn't. You know what I mean? Like
instead of coming out of the top of the Empire State Building, it came out of the top of it came out of a mountainside or out of the pyramid or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's that same setup came out of the top of the Empire State Building.
Yeah, but we didn't have a giant marshmallow man.
Yeah,
no, we just got miniature.
What I liked about this though was all the ghosts that were coming out and like all around the town and stuff, and that was cool. It kind of reminded me of I don't know if it was just an episode of the Ghostbuster cartoon or one of the cartoon movies, but I remember one where it's like all of these ghosts just starts coming out of the subway and they're all over the city. And I just
thinking of
that's a reboot,
the 2016 reboot.
No, I'm not. It's definitely not that.
Well, like I would have loved to see them going through the town, busting those ghosts, leading up to the final fight with Gozer.
That would have been cool. I agree. I'm just saying it brought back some good memories from when I was a kid because I remember watching a cartoon like that. It's definitely not the reboot because I didn't remember that happened in the reboot. I've only seen that movie once in theaters and that's it. But I don't know. I really liked it. I thought it was a fantastic movie, and I was not expecting Harold Ramis to make any kind of appearance at all.
Was I.
I thought the whole him being a ghost.
I've been saying that from the beginning is if they don't have him in this movie as a ghost, it's their fingers not on the pulse.
They had him as a ghost. I just didn't think they were going to show his body.
Yeah,
I thought they were just going to leave it at that.
When he wasn't visible and he's like moving the lamp and showing them where to find things, it's like, oh, that's tasteful. Like, I did not think that we were going to see him, but when you see his hand go on Phoebe's hand on the proton pack, my gosh, what I gotta say about this movie, is I hate when they do these reboots and they just update the shit out of it. The music, the visual effects, everything. They kept enough, like the music was all the same. They didn't update it. They didn't put any crappy pop songs in it or anything. Mm-hmm. Like they kept the same soundtrack. The swirling tornado of ghosts over the farmhouse was like looked the same as it did in the original. Like they kept so many things.
The proton lasers were
updated,
better
but they didn't
looking,
change.
and
the
ghost traps looked better, and the metal flubber or whatever looked better. But the dogs, for instance, there was some moments where they were CGI depending on the situation, but there were other moments that looked like animatronics, and I thought that was I loved that. I thought that was very good.
But
they had a great balance.
They didn't update the proton packs to the point where it looked unrecognizable.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like they didn't say like, oh, now we have new technology, so now it's going to shoot laser beams or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't changing it, and that's kind of what Star Wars does. Like a lightsaber has been a lightsaber, and what's that?
So why mess with perfection, bro?
Exactly. Like Star Wars, a lightsaber has been a lightsaber has been a lightsaber. Like they don't update it to the point where it's unrecognizable, right? But you watch other movies that they just, the reboot, like it was so detracted from what made the originals great, and that's why it sucked. It has nothing to do with the fact that they gender swapped all the roles.
I agree.
It has nothing to do with that. What it has to do is that they did not understand what made the originals great. And
the fact that they ignored the original movies, that was kind of dumb.
Well, and in a reboot does a reboot. This wasn't a reboot. This was a sequel that's leading it. Yeah, it's a soft reboot. Don't they call them soft reboots?
Well, yeah, it's a sequel that's leading into, I think, a new franchise, a new chapter in this franchise. where you're stupid if you don't capitalize on this, because you can go, like you said, you can have Winston fit the bill. Now that after you watch the end credit scene, you see that he made a bunch of money. He buys the old firehouse. The Ecto 1 is back with him. Like they can do that. They could do the new Ghostbusters, have a whole new group of people in there, but they can capitalize on the Ghostbusters, and it could be another huge franchise for Sony.
He can because he's so like that was brilliant, making him the successful one. Like you thought it was going to be Bill Murray, you thought it was going to be Dan Aykroyd, but Ernie Hudson being the successful one. Now he gets to be where he was always kind of like the fourth Ghostbuster. Like he was less like, it's sad because he's one of my favorites, but he was less of a Ghostbuster than the other.
He felt like an outsider.
He was an outsider. Now he can be the, he can be the one. Like it can be his thing. He can put a Ghostbusters thing in every major city, and you could see stories from different groups and stuff like this. They have the potential, if they do it correctly, to make this huge. Streaming, I wouldn't be surprised if they make a Ghostbusters TV show that's in the same, Disney's having success with it.
Right. That'd be awesome.
DC's having success with it. Let's get a live action TV show that's kind of like a paranormal, like a supernatural type thing, where every week you have a monster of the week type thing, but it feeds into the main story arc. I think that's
and Ghostbusters is one of those properties that are one of my favorites that I can't get enough of. Like, there's not enough. I mean, there's Ghostbusters comics, but there's not enough of those out there. There's not enough Ghostbusters content. So like, I came home and I've watched 2 episodes of Real Ghostbusters cartoon, and like on Plex, they've got the first 2 seasons, and you can get the entire series for like $17 on Amazon. Like I have them all
on Blu-ray.
I watched the first 2 episodes of season 1 of the Real Ghostbusters TV show. Like I can't get enough, and I need to capitalize on it because I want more Ghostbusters.
I don't know anybody that doesn't want more Ghostbusters. My neighbor, I told her, you got to go see the new Ghostbusters movie. Like, I was like praising it. She's like, I never seen the originals. I'm like, what the is wrong with you? Who hasn't seen the original Ghostbusters?
Yeah. Like,
it shocked me. Like, Ghostbusters just seems like one of those things that is firmly entrenched into American history. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of the most recognizable movies in the world. Like, you see Slimer and everybody knows what that's from. You see the ghost in the logo, everybody knows what that is, but
I liked how they had the little Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in the logo at the end of the movie after credit scene.
It looked like it could be a reboot of the logo, because I kind of saw, I didn't like, it was wearing the bow like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but it was a child, and I was like, oh, that's unique because now the Ghostbusters are going to be children. So I kind of thought maybe they would use that going forward, but even that would be a mistake. I don't think they should change it, but
Leftovers cool. Says it's a good movie, Afterlife. I don't know about all of the multiverse, multi-show thing. Well, I'm just saying I want more Ghostbusters as a fan of the franchise. Like, that's my only gripe on this movie, is there was not enough Ghostbusting action. That's the same gripe I have with the first 2 movies. There's not enough Ghostbusting action in it. There's not enough of them using the proton packs. There's not enough of them using the gear. Like, I want more of that.
And I think the reason for that is that, specifically with the first Ghostbusters, is that it was viewed more as a comedy than a sci-fi movie. Like, in the same vein as Groundhog Day and Stripes and all those other movies that Bill Murray and Harold Ramis did, and not as a sci-fi movie. And I like that. I don't want the sci-fi to be too heavy because I think it will detract. That's with the reboot. The sci-fi was heavier than it had been in these 3, right? But I don't know. That's why I think a TV show would be a great idea, because then you'd get something every week, some cool action or whatever. You could tell those stories about just going on the road and hunting ghosts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But all right, I think we beat Max. Lance and I have like dominated most of this. Do you have anything else you want to say about it before?
Sorry, I was excited.
You're good.
We kind of talked this to death.
No, I'm good. I'm ready to go.
All right. I want to thank everyone for hanging out in the chat tonight. Leftover Zaggy, Aaron, of course, Solo Wookie, Kyle, Stick Boy, everyone who bailed because they didn't want to have spoilers that get ruined. Appreciate everyone hanging out, having a good time. If you're listening to the back on the playback on Monday, greatly appreciate it. Why don't you come check us out on a Friday night live on YouTube? Join the chat, have a great time, join the conversation. Let us know what you thought about Ghostbusters in the comments below. When you come back, if you liked it, didn't like it, why or why not? What you'd like to see more from the franchise? Things like that. Let us know your opinions and thoughts and hopes and dreams. If you're listening to this on the Monday stream, on the playback, next Friday, it is Thanksgiving here in the States. So if you're not in the States and you're not celebrating Thanksgiving, there will be no show. We're going to be spending time with our families and doing some Black Friday shopping, probably all buying more new TVs to piss off our wives.
Or going to see Ghostbusters again.
Yeah, so next Friday, there will be no show as we're all going to be giving thanks and celebrating with our families. And that we give thanks for every one of you who check us out and support the show every week. And if you want to support the show, you can do so by checking out our merch store over at Teespring. The link is in our YouTube channel or on our website. Go buy a t-shirt, Absolute Geek t-shirts, coffee mugs, backpacks, all kinds of goodies right there. So, yeah. And if you want to find more content from us, you can make sure to subscribe to the video you're watching here below. If you're listening to the playback, you can find us in any of your podcasting platforms, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Podbean, iHeartRadio, and pretty much anywhere you can download a podcast, you can find us.
The alley behind the 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
on My Little Pony's thumb drive.
Yep. We'll have to get those out for cons when cons come back.
I would love that.
But yeah, so again, we appreciate all the support you guys show us each and every week to keep us going. So all of that for this week's episode of the Absolute Geek Podcast. I am Matt.
I am Lance.
I'm Max.
Saying if you're in the States, have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. And
if you're not happy,
Friday,
happy Thursday.
Yeah. Hope you can all stand your family if you're getting together with family. If not, enjoy your long weekend, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
All you freaks and geeks,
come all you freaks and geeks, let's listen to Absolute Geek.
Absolute Geek.
We'll go ahead and spread our cheeks,
Spread the cheeks.
and drink some Cosby wine.
We'll
Come
drink
on,
some Cosby
Absolute
wine. It makes me feel real fine.